Hey everyone, welcome to Quad Culture. I'm Kaleb Unger, and with us today is a very special guest to talk Oscars, Cam Clark. Cam, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good, I'm just kind of riding the high as we've talked about before. This is kind of like our Super Bowl, so this is a time to get excited, to get
Absolutely.
hyped. And so, I just figured who better to talk about the Oscars with than the person who probably loves it, maybe more than I do.
Oh, and it was a great night. Yeah, I'm so excited to talk about it, especially with you. Thanks for having me on. I've been dying to get on here and talk movies with you. So,
So, when you sort of reflect on the Oscars last night, hosted by Conan O'Brien, obviously, what were your thoughts overall on the show and just the Oscars as a whole?
um, I thought it was a pretty good show overall. I mean, I feel like it was better than the last couple of years. I've never really seen Conan O'Brien and stuff before. Like, I'm not really familiar with his late night show stuff. So I thought he did a pretty good job. And then my friends who are fans said he did a great job. I thought he actually had some pretty good jokes. But let's just say it was a really great night to be a Sean Baker fan. So
Yeah. Well, and I think what Conan did such a good job of is he moved it along well. You could tell sometimes when things got a little bit long, he probably cut some of his jokes. I just thought he was pretty funny. Obviously, we're both big movie theater fans, and so obviously
yeah,
the little fake ad that was a promotion for like a movie,
yeah,
it's like the movie streaming service, and then obviously you already talked about it, Big and Nora. Sean Baker's speech was one of my favorite from the night.
yeah.
So
It was incredible.
so that kind of leads me into this next question, which I'm kind of interested to hear your thoughts. If you had to kind of like zero in, who won the night for you?
Um, yeah, definitely Sean Baker, probably. I mean, you predicted a few weeks ago when we were talking about doing this podcast that like Sean Baker's going to have a really great night, and he did. So, yeah, all of his speeches were so great. And it was also just so cool and so inspirational to see where he's been, like where he started, and then seeing him kind of, I saw a lot of myself in him, just kind of that really just giddy, like he loves movies, he loves making it, and just seeing him up on that stage, you could see how excited he was. And then what was even cooler was seeing that Tarantino got to give him his award for, I think it was Best Director, right?
Yeah.
And that was just, oh, that was like so cool for me. And then like there was the little like outro clip after that where him and Tarantino were just walking down the hall talking and like hugging it out. I was like, oh, that's like my dream right there. That's just so cool. So, but yeah, I would say Sean Baker definitely took the night away. I'm glad Dune got some wins. Like is better than nothing. And then. Yeah, I was happy the Substance got anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, stoked about that.
I'm interested to hear your thoughts. So one of the bigger winners of the night, because I mean, obviously Sean Baker sets Oscar history. He wins those four big awards.
Hmm.
But I thought
Yeah,
like another like just overall winner was in a year where maybe I thought maybe all the categories weren't top to bottom as strong as other years. I thought the supporting actor and actress categories were both actually pretty good, and so as a result of that, I feel like Kieran Culkin and Zoe Saldana's speeches were some of the best of the night. Obviously, Zoe Saldana's was very
yeah,
good on that like emotional side of talking about like where she comes
yeah.
from and being from an immigrant family and those types of things. And then obviously Kieran Culkin has
Hmm.
been great this entire circuit. He kills it when he makes his jokes and everything. So, what was your kind of thought
Yeah.
on those two?
So I actually missed Kieran Culkin's speech. I saw like some highlights from it, like because I was at the
Hilarious.
Oscar shorts when he accepted that. We're on the way home. But yeah, I love the quote I saw where he said, "I don't know what I'm doing up here" or something like, "I don't know how I got here," which was
Yeah.
great. I love him, and it's been so awesome to see him because I mean he's like swept every single award season. I can't even think of another actor who might have won like a lot in other award circuits, but yeah, Zoe Saldana, she was great too. That was a really hard one for when we did our predictions because I was like, oh, I know it's gonna be Zoe, but I know Ariana Grande was like kind of
Yeah.
up there for like picks. So that was one of the things where I really had to bite my tongue and just vote for Zoe. So, but yeah,
So
it was a cool night. Yeah,
So as far as like Zoe Saldana, obviously like really almost any mainstream movie person is going to know who she is even if they don't know her name. Obviously she's a part of
Yeah.
the two biggest money making franchises probably
Hmm.
of all time. And I think she's going to continue to be a part of both of those franchises in some capacity at least, mostly in that kind of that Avatar world. um,
Yeah.
for me, it was really cool to see her get some recognition from the standpoint of like we've seen her as a CGI blue alien and we've seen her as a painted green alien. So to get to see her really in her own skin, just kind of show her talent, I thought was really cool. So what is your kind of thoughts on the Zoe Saldana win? Obviously, Amelia Perez is sort of more of like a polarizing film. I think when you look
Hmm.
at it in comparison to the Honoras and the Brutalists of the world, it was crazy to me that it was in that category. I didn't think it was quite as bad as a
Yeah.
lot of people did, but how do
Yeah,
you
not at
feel
all.
about Zoe Saldana's win, especially with somebody like Ariana Grande in the category who's so popular?
Yeah, no, it was really great. I was actually talking about that with one of my other buddies, but he too, or I was telling him that like it's super cool to see her win and like you said in her own skin. Because again, like I can't even really think of any other roles of hers that aren't Avatar or Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
So to see her win this for yeah, the movie might not be like as great, like either as great or as bad as some people say, but like
yeah,
it is so cool to see her do. Like she did a great job. Like even my friend who didn't care for the movie was like, she deserves that Oscar. I mean, you said for the whatever song she won last night, the El Ma or whatever
yeah.
song, like that's her best. Like that's the best scene in the movie probably, and she kills it. So yeah, it's
And I
awesome to
think
see.
And I think with that too, like you're looking at somebody who, as far as within that movie, is really like a gravitational force. Like I think she
Yeah,
carries a lot of that movie, and so I thought it was really cool to see her win. So as much as we all
yeah,
want to be
yeah.
positive, talk about the Honoras of the world, talk about the Kieran Culkin, Zoe Saldana's, all of those sorts of stuff. The Oscars is a award show, so we have people who are both figurative and actual losers. So who do you think was the big loser of the night?
Oh man, I wish. Yeah, I should have brought up a list. I want to. I don't know if I want to say the big losers, because like I really wish the substance would have kind of been the underdog and
Yeah,
won. Like I was the whole night I was texting my friend while watching it, and I think I texted you a few times too, but like I was like I would love for them to pull like either what they did like Parasite Year or like Coda where
yeah,
like no one was expecting those to win. And I was hoping that like they would just call the substance for best picture or something because that would have been just so cool because that really is like probably the best movie last year, that and Adora. So I would say I hate calling it a loser because it's such a great movie, but
yeah.
yeah, the substance
It's an
definitely. I wish I
unfortunate
would have
loser.
seen at least a best. Yeah, I would have loved to see the director of the substance. I don't know how to say her name. Coralie. Yeah, I would have loved to see her win best director. That would have been really cool. Um, are we talking about not like losers in terms of like just the Oscars itself, or like the people who were nominated as well?
just
Because
just as
like.
far as like at the show as a whole. So if you want to go off the board a little bit, give it to me. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say because I was thinking about your question about like who like should have gotten nominated. I mean, a lot of people said this, but like Denis Villeneuve for Dune
Yeah,
Part Two for Best Director, like that is horrific. And I know there's a lot of theory that like he's getting Peter Jackson's, where like you're not gonna get not he didn't get nominated for Fellowship of the Ring or the Two Towers, but he finally got his win for The Return of the King, which is the best one.
yeah.
Hopefully that happens. Hopefully Messiah is that good. And then I think Margaret Qualley was kind of snubbed or pretty snubbed. Sorry, snubbed pretty hardly for the substance as well. I mean,
Sort
I've
of
seen that movie
throughout the
three
award
times in the
season.
last week. Yeah, yeah. So she was nominated in other
No, I
circuits.
mean, I think there was maybe a few, but I mean, I think she was left off of a lot of awards things, which I think was a
Yeah,
surprise
yeah,
and partially a testament to the category, partially, just sometimes that's how
yeah,
those things go.
yeah.
Um, I'm interested to hear your thoughts. So, Timothy Chalamet, obviously,
Hmm.
he's the I think as he travels to these award shows, he's the big star, right? He's the one
Yeah,
who was in one of the most successful movies of the year, as well as one of the better, just Oscar type movies and a complete unknown.
Yeah.
And you kind of see it in all of these award shows is that people are kind of taking shots at him. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, that's just how those award shows kind of work. You know, they're taking shots at the young guy with Timothy Chalamet. And he kind of leaves this
Hmm.
award season with really one significant award. And so I'm interested to hear your thoughts
Hmm.
on that. I thought personally, I thought Chalamet's performance was as good as Adrian Brody's, and I really hope we're not getting into this scenario where it's like it'll be his time to win. I hope he just wins when he's good enough to win, which I think he has been already.
Yeah, yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah, and I thought his speech that he gave I don't remember if it's the Golden Globes or something a few weeks ago where he says, I want to be great or I want to be one of the greats and I'm on that path. I thought that was a really bold thing to say. Great though, and I think he totally deserves it. I mean, I think he could have been nominated for either, a complete unknown or Dune Part Two. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
he's great in both. I've been meaning to get around to rewatching A Complete Unknown because, like, I know, like, you really, really enjoyed that movie, or like, you thought it was so good, and I,
yeah.
I thought it was good, but I want to watch it again to appreciate it more. Um, but yeah, I would love to see Timothy Chalamet win something. I mean, yeah, I would hate it to be like a pity thing, but like, I think he is already, like you said, he is already great, and so I think he definitely does deserve the win for that. But speaking of Adrian Brody, his speech was long, but had some good stuff in there.
Yeah, I thought his speech was interesting because like you said, obviously long speech. He's been there before, like he said. I I think it
Yeah,
just bums me out because like the they already get like a lot of time to make their speeches.
yeah,
In comparison
yeah,
to like you're seeing these like small
yeah,
animators, small filmmakers that they basically are getting like played off the stage. They're getting dragged off the stage, and so
yeah,
that's why the length of his speech and that the music came up and he kind of shut the music down kind of just rubbed me the wrong way because it's like if you have something to say it. You've won quite a few awards this circuit, like
yeah,
get it out. But I guess not
yeah,
everybody can
yeah.
be
That
Sean Baker and get four different chances to talk.
crazy, yeah. And then what Sean Baker said about like editing and stuff, where he's like, "I'm surprised this got made at all." Like you should see how much I left on the floor or whatever. Like I was like,
Yeah,
"That's crazy," but yeah, that's really cool, and that's something I like. I mean, even like when I've taken a few friends to see Anora, they're always like, "Holy crap!" Like he edits as well, which is such a huge
yeah,
thing to go from writer, director, editor, and producer, and especially he has his wife who also works with him on all
yeah.
this stuff. Crazy, super, yeah, super inspirational. So very happy
So
for him.
obviously we're big fans of the show. We're big, you're
Yeah.
getting me kind of rolling with Sean Baker and things like that. But as you look at the night as a
Hmm.
whole, obviously every year the Oscars are painted with the snubs of the world, and you already kind of got into that a little bit. For
Yeah.
you, what was the most significant thing missing from the night, like as far as what you felt like should have been there?
That's a great question. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I felt like they did a pretty good job. Yeah, I mean, I thought the in memory section was pretty good. I just
Yeah,
saw a post today. They left out some pretty big names. Like I think they forgot
yeah,
like Tony Todd and a couple actors, but. I mean, when it comes to the show in general, I thought it was interesting to not see, not that I like didn't miss it or anything, but I thought it was interesting not to see like the best score or the best original song be played
yeah,
out. I don't know if I'd say that was missing, but they tried to make up with it for the Weird Bond
yeah.
tribute, and I didn't get to see the Wicked like stuff they did at the beginning of the show, so I don't know if it was that good or not, or
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was interesting. I think for me, when I think about the night as like a whole, right? We talked
yeah,
about Timothy Chalamet. How many actors have been the star of two movies that were nominated for Best Picture? That's obviously super
yeah,
impressive. But on the
yeah,
flip side of that, how many directors in a year make a movie as good as Challengers and a movie as good as Queer,
oh yeah,
um,
yeah,
and get no recognition? as a whole for their movies, whether that's, the below the line categories technically or acting. Like Luca Guadagnino movies get blanked completely. So I don't know,
Yeah,
as we haven't talked as much about that. I really love Challengers. I thought Queer was really good,
yeah,
particularly Daniel
yeah,
Craig. I don't know who I
yeah.
would take out of that Best Actor race, but how did you feel about kind of the Luca Guadagnino movies just getting really pushed to the side as a whole?
Um, yeah, it's definitely a bummer. I did enjoy Challengers. I didn't appreciate it as much as others, so that's why I'm trying to revisit it soon because I went and saw Queer when it came out a couple of months ago, and I loved that. I thought that was so great, and I loved what he did with the material because I'm kind of working through the book as well. And yeah, again, I really love Queer, and so because of that, I've gone back and have been reworking through his stuff because I wasn't really a fan in the first place, but. I ended up revisiting or watching Call Me by Your Name for the first time, and I thought that was really great. So, um, yeah, definitely a bummer. But they definitely got snubbed for score for that because I know a lot of people really loved the score for Challengers, and so
Yeah.
I know that upset quite a few people.
Well, and it was a
But
score
I
that
do
had won
think,
on other awards too, which is just so weird.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. One thing that was missing though, and I thought the Oscars, the Academy said they were going to bring it into the show at some point. Um, we really need a section for like stunt work and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So,
I think that's
yeah,
coming in
I
like
thought,
the next couple years, maybe.
okay, cool. Yeah, definitely need it. I mean, we've had some really great stunt movies in the last couple years, so
Hmm. And I think it just kind of diversifies the audience that might be watching it. I like the
hmm
fact that Honora is getting more light on it and that more people might check out Honora now is great. But I think you also have to draw people in with movies that they've seen before and, kind of movies that an audience
yeah,
might care about that's a little bit more casual. So as we
yeah,
wrap up our time, I want to
yeah,
look to the future. Maybe we don't need to
hmm
talk Oscars as much here, but
yeah,
as you
yeah.
look into this year, what are some things that you're excited for? Give me like your top three, top four in letterbox fashion movies that you're most excited for as we get into the year.
Dang it, I wish I had more prep time for this because it's totally blank right now. I mean, The Monkey was already one of my most anticipated movies of this year, and
Yeah.
I thought that was great. I'm a huge fan of Osgood Perkins, so he actually does have another movie coming out this year. I don't know if you saw that,
Oh, I
um,
didn't see that. No.
but it's called like Keeper. There's like a teaser for it at the end of The
Hmm.
Monkey, so that was really cool. So I'm excited for that. I'm trying to think. Off the top of my head, Nobody 2 is supposed to come out this year. Pretty stoked
Yeah,
for that. I'm a pretty big fan of the first one. Oh, and then Ari Aster's new movie is supposed to come out this year too.
with Emma Stone.
Eddington, I think it's yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that one should be a lot of fun. Was a huge fan of Beau is Afraid, so or any work he does really. And then man, I'm trying to think like another big movie that comes out this year that I'm super stoked for. Not coming to mind though.
Do you want me to give me? I'll give you mine. Will you think
Yeah,
a
go
little
for it.
bit?
Yeah, well, I want to hear
Um,
yours. So
So I'm pumped for Fantastic Four. I really like I think it's Matt
yeah.
Jackman. I love his work on WandaVision, so I think that's
Yeah,
something that I'm super pumped about. I'm a huge Paul
yeah,
Mescal and Jesse Buckley fan, and they're coming together for a Chloe Zhao movie, Hamnet, and I've heard that book is just absolutely
yeah,
devastating. So anytime I can watch Paul Mescal in an absolutely devastating movie, sign me up, even though it's just like
yeah,
basically asking to put
yeah,
myself through some pain. There's a movie
yeah.
called The Bride coming out, which is one of two Frankenstein movies coming out.
Yes. hmm
But get some
Maggie
Christian,
Gyllenhaal.
yeah, some Christian Bale, Maggie Gyllenhaal
Yeah.
action, and so I'm really excited for that. And then, man, I'm stumping myself on number four. So this is actually a good one for me to shout out here. I'm an Avatar hater. I don't understand who goes to those movies. I don't understand how they make so much money. Like, I'm a
Mm-mm.
James Cameron hater overall, which is just that's my hottest movie take. But I'm actually getting excited for Avatar: Fire and Ash. It looks like it's going to be a little bit gnarly, and so I'm interested for that one.
Yes, yeah. Some of the stuff James Cameron has said about that movie has been super interesting. Especially since he said, "I think this is going to be different. I don't know if my fans are going to like it." And I'm like, "Hey, that might be a good start." So,
Exactly.
um, yeah. So, yeah. Again, like I think you kind of aimed that. Avatar haters, that's definitely me. I'm not a huge fan of them. But
Like I don't think
I
they're
like
bad,
I'm no, not at all. They're just Avatar
but
movies,
I don't
so
understand how they make so much money. I don't get
I
it.
don't either. But yeah, as much as I hate them, I'll probably be seated for them. So
Yeah,
I would say the only movie I could think of, and I even looked it up, and I couldn't find anything that like really like excites me. I thought the trailer for 28 Years Later looks really good.
yeah.
I haven't seen any of the other movies in that series, but I thought that trailer was excellent. So, but yeah, I super excited. Sorry, I'm trying to find see if there's any
No,
other
you're good.
big ones. I know we're
Um,
running out of time, but
but yeah, I mean, I think this is a year. This is like a really big blockbuster year. You know, you're looking at like your Supermans,
yes,
Thunderbolts, Fantastic Fours,
I
Jurassic
was gonna
Park,
say
all those types
speaking.
of things.
Yeah, speaking of the big blockbusters, I am super stoked to see Superman. James
Yeah,
Gunn, like I don't think he can do any wrong with superhero movies. And people are giving him so much crap, or at least I've seen people give him so much crap,
yeah.
and I love his work on the Suicide Squad. That's the best, one of the best DC movies, so I definitely say that one's up there for sure. So
So, to close this out, to give our last little thing, to give us a window into
yeah,
Cam, because I'm already saying I'm gonna book you again. This isn't the last time you're gonna be on here.
yeah, yeah,
Give
for sure.
me give me and my audience a movie recommendation. Anything.
Good movie recommendation. That is a great question. Let's see. I would definitely. I'm just gonna keep it. Yeah, that's a great question. I will keep it within the. I'm gonna keep it related to Sean Baker, but I thought Red Rocket was really great. That was his movie between the Florida Project and Anora. And I don't think a ton of people saw it, but honestly, like anything in Sean Baker's filmography is really great. But I definitely think you should go check out Red Rocket or the Florida Project if you haven't. So,
Perfect. And then before you leave, Cam, do you want to plug anything? Is there anything you want to direct my viewers towards to check out your work and things like that?
um, I don't have anything official in terms of my work. I mean, I'm going to try to start my own production page, the In Between Bear Productions on
Cool.
Instagram. There is a page, but there's nothing on there, and it's kind of under construction. But honestly, I think the coolest thing, if anyone wants to, is just to follow me on Letterboxd, and I'd love to follow you back. And my username is Cam underscore Clark 116. I really love just seeing what people have to say about movies and just what they think about them in general. So if you want to give me a follow there, that'd be awesome.
Heck yeah.
So, but
Cam,
yeah, thank
thanks
you so
for,
much for having me on.
yeah, no problem. Have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.